the 12 steps taught me to look at my own behavior, right? To look at my own side of the street. So not just how people have wronged me and what everybody else has done, but what am I doing? So if I'm so fixated and obsessed and angry at somebody else, like what's going on with me? Is that like a characteristic? Is that a trait? Is that a behavior that I have within myself that I need to address? And that's why I'm so upset with this other person. So, what patterns am I repeating? Am I hurting other people? Uh, am I lying to others, or am I lying to myself? Am I making excuses and blaming other people? Do I accept reality as it is? And I know everybody has their own perception. And so when I have that psychic change, it has to come within myself. It's not coming from other out there. So that kind of self-examination is super, super uncomfortable and miserable. And turning that finger to myself, um, it takes hard work and discipline, and I'm still doing it. Making amends is a really important part of my recovery. I've done quite a few, and it's not just I'm sorry. It's not doing it again, right? So there's the living amends of people that I have wronged, and I don't know their last names, or it's been 20 years. Um, and so the living amends is just not being an a-hole anymore, right? Um, but then having those really hard discussions, making amends to my mother. When I was 18, I was doing pills and coke, and my parents were worried about me, and they came to my work one time, waited until I was done, and I was in the car with my friend, and I was mad, and I threw my cup at my mom and just drenched her, and that just ate me up for years. And so I sat down with her. I was maybe 9 months sober, and apologized for her. she didn't she didn't even remember the incident. But she appreciated that. And so it's funny, like the things that I remember, and then what she remembers. And when I was writing my book, Drowning in Doctrine, it really just gave me this opportunity to have real discussions. Hey, and to be honest with my parents and my brother and my sisters, and how the church had harmed me growing up. And it was more of like an emotionally mature conversation with my parents, where finally they spoke to me as if I was a peer. And that only just happened, in the last few years, because it was constantly, I have power over you, even though I'm married. Like it was still like this. I'm gonna get you into the Mormon church no matter what. I'm gonna fix you, and finally that's kind of dissipated, and they've backed off. And my father was just really amazing. He just sent me an email, and he's like, I've been, reflecting, the mistakes I've made over the years. And he had brought up, an incident. There's violence in the home with my brother and I. He was just an out of control addict, violence, and he had kicked me in the face. And there were a few instances that had happened, and cops weren't called. Nothing was. I was told to keep my mouth shut, to not rock the boat, to keep the peace, no matter what. And what had happened was that when we were in a family session, we went to a rehab when my brother was in rehab one of the times. I had brought up this incident in a counseling session, and they had made the police report, and they, CPS came to my school and talked to me about it. And once again, they did whatever cost to protect my brother. So my father apologized, and he said, I should have called the cops. I should have addressed it then, and then he had talked about how when I was 18, I had my appendix. I had like 2 surgeries for my appendix. I almost died, lungs collapsed, whole thing. And they were in Texas, and I was in Wenatchee. And they drove up and got me and basically just berated me and was like, I'm having all these issues because I'm not Mormon, and because I'm living a life of sin, I'm having all these medical issues. I appreciate him, writing this letter to me, sending it to me, because it is very challenging for him to have an emotional conversation. Going back to my amends that maybe 10 years ago, I was making amends, and I can't remember, or maybe 5 years ago. A few years ago. And I was sitting in the car and I was crying. I was apologizing for something, and he had changed the subject. And I was like, well, I'm not done. So I went back and I was telling, I was making amends. And then he changed the subject again. And I'm like, okay, this is too emotionally vulnerable for him. And it's not about me. This is about him. And so just back off. So not everybody wants to hear an amends. It's definitely freeing. I've had an old friend that was like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. So, and that's okay, right? I'm definitely not that same person 20 years ago, right? So I'm just being, amends helped me to be more accountable, and that I live a way where I don't want to make an amends. So don't be an a-hole currently.